Hello, how you going? My name's Ben, this is This Art, and today's video I'm here to reveal my new Modern Tele Baritone. Now, if you're unsure what a baritone guitar is, basically what it is the scale length is longer. You can get it in a 7-string, but I've got it in a 6. The reason why I chose to go with 6 is I've never actually played a 7-string, and instead of relearning all that sort of theory and my way around the fretboard, I thought I'll just go for a baritone so we can tune lower in the band, but everything's exactly the same. I see a lot of people over-explaining baritones on the net, sort of like, oh yeah, it's standard tuning, but it's B, but your chords are different, and that's too technical. Basically, the best way to look at it is, it just means you can tune lower and retain that string tension. So, at the moment I've got it tuned in drop G, but for the band I mainly use it in drop A sharp. Yeah, and it just means that I don't have to get super thick gauge strings, and it's still quite tight, which is good. I've tested how low I can go with this, and I've pretty much taken it down to drop F, which is probably where it starts to get a little bit too sloppy and floppy for my liking. That can be fixed with just some thicker strings. So yeah, I've got some videos of me playing it, a couple of heavy ones, a couple of clean ones, and yeah, to show you what it sort of sounds like. So if you tuned into any videos on my old channel, you would have seen that I've actually got a couple of Telecasters, and I did quickly show them in my studio tour video, which you can see up there. So yeah, if you have seen those videos, you'd know that pretty much all my guitars are actually made by my old man. I've actually never gone into a guitar shop and bought a guitar in my life, which is nuts, because I have, I'm looking at them now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is at my father-in-law's house. So I've never bought a guitar in my life. This is a custom-made one. My other stuff has pretty much just been sort of Tele replica stuff, like I got a 52 reissue, and then I just got a standard, humbucker Tele. But with this, we wanted to do something a bit more custom, kind of go for that sort of mayonnaise sort of route, where it's, everything on this guitar I've picked, or my old man's picked, and it's, completely made to, my sort of specs. So, starting with the body shape, as you see, it is very similar to a Tele shape, but if you look at it, the top horn here is actually a bit more pointed, and it's slanted forwards. A lot of the Ibanez Teles are like that as well. I really like that look. But also on the bottom, it's sort of curved rather than having like a flat bottom. The way I explained it when I was talking about the shape was sort of, I wanted to go with kind of like a Telecaster / Jazzmaster Jaguar sort of look. Jazzmasters and Jaguars do have that sort of curve up there and the points there. Yeah, that's where I sort of got the body shape from. There's a little horn down here as well, which is a little bit different to the more rounded standard Tele horn as well. The only other sort of body shape modifications there is there's a slight arm curve here as well. It's not too severe, and there's also a belly cut there as well, which is a lot more comfortable than using a flat guitar, especially for a guy like me that I'm not the skinniest bloke. So yeah, that just makes it a bit more comfortable when it's sitting on me when I'm playing. The wood that we chose to go with for the body is, the wings here are actually New Zealand Kari wood. I actually have them in my humbucker Tele as well, but it's a much heavier timber for some reason. I don't know whether it's just had more moisture through it over the years. This is a lot lighter, which is really good, because my other Tele is freaking heavy. So yeah, like I said, the two wings here is actually that New Zealand Kari wood. For the middle here, I believe we went with African mahogany, and then we actually have wenge stringers there, which is really nice. And on the front, we've got a wenge veneer on the front as well. So very, very thin line there. I really, really liked the sort of open pore look. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but with the light, you can actually see a lot of the open pores here, which is really cool. It's a big thing for a lot of mayonnaise stuff, and even some of the Ibanez stuff to have that sort of open grain look there. I was going to go black, but I ended up going just like a really, really dark brown, because I feel like it looks really, really, really good compared to that there. Now, neck-wise, that's the only sort of thing my dad didn't make, because it's much, much easier to just order a custom neck online. So if you're aware of the online company called Warmoth Guitars, you can buy full guitar kits if you want to, but they also do necks. So this is their baritone neck. It's a 27-inch, I believe. Basically, it is roasted maple on the back there, and then on the front we've just got ebony board there. That's actually the first ebony fretboard I've had. Both my other Teles are actually both just full maple necks. I wanted to go with this because of the sand and the feel of it. I don't like the stickiness, rosewood, so yeah, ended up going ebony there. There's not much else custom about the neck other than I went with Warmoth's signature headstock shape. It's sort of a blend between a Tele and a Strat headstock. I don't want to go a standard Tele, but I didn't want to go a Strat because they're too big. I feel like the curves on this headstock really, really accentuated the rest of the curves on the body. Yeah, super, super stoked with that one and how it all complements the body there. Going over to the machine heads, I actually went with some black Godo lock-in tuners. I've never had lock-in tuners before, but it was a big must for me on this guitar because it's just super, super easy to change the strings on. So yeah, black there to accentuate the rest of the hardware. Now, probably the thing most people care about is pickup wise. So pickup wise, I actually went with the bare knuckle Juggernaut pickups. They are the signatures from Misha Mansour, but I don't really follow Periphery, haven't listened to them too much. I just saw online that, you know, doing modern metal music, which is what, you know, my band's sort of aiming for, and a bit more genty stuff. This is the best one I found online from what people said, and sound demos on YouTube and stuff like that. So, really, really awesome. As you'll hear in the demos there that I'm going to show on the screen, there's actually quite a lot of punch from it. Your stereotypical baritones usually have a real woody and woofy, you know, bassy tone to them because they are a longer scale guitar, almost like a bass. But this sort of just picks out a little bit more of that bite, combined with obviously the timber choices that we went with. So yeah, I didn't buy these brand new. I did get them on eBay. Because to get them brand new for Australia, it's a lot. It's like $600-700, but I think I picked up this set for $400, so absolute steal there. Loving them so far. So bridge-wise, I went with the Hip Shop Hardtail bridge. The reason why I went with this is, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but it's a really, really low profile. So when you're palm muting, you don't have any sharp bits sticking up. It's really, really easy to get as low as you want to the strings and have a lot of control of where you're palm muting. Because obviously, if you're playing rhythm in a metal band like I am, palm muting's a big thing, and you would know that the further up you go, different sort of sound you get. That you get that sort of Ola Ungland sort of sound, and then down here it just opens it up a bit more. So it just means you can use a lot more of your palm muting technique, which I'm quite a heavy player when it comes to palm muting. I almost bounce off the strings like I'm slapping them, so that makes it a lot easier to sort of come up and down on those palm mutes, which is awesome. For the control wise, I just ordered some knobs off Amazon. I'm not sure if you can see them on here, but they're sort of like a aged sort of copper, I would say, or aged bronze, and they've got a sort of pearl on the top there. I was looking at just normal black knobs, but I don't know, I feel like I wanted to go something a bit more custom, a bit more different to the rest of the black hardware. So, I mean, I can always swap them down the track if I want to. that sort of, finishes it all up for, what I've kitted this out with. The strings I'm using are just a standard baritone set from Elixir, nothing crazy there. I've had this guitar for probably about 2 months now and I'm absolutely loving it. We've done a couple of recordings on it, done some practices with it. It just fits in the mix really, really well. So basically this is going to be used for any of our songs that are sort of sitting in the A sharp tuning and lower. We are sort of experimenting with drop G and possibly drop F sharp in the future. So you're looking at tuning a bit lower and you're playing, modern metal or even, old school metalcore, you don't want to go to a 7. Baritone is a really, really good way to go. It took a little bit for me to get used to the, reaching a little bit further because the telly necks are quite short. But yeah, the 27-inch scale's awesome. Also got this cutout here so I can go up here if I need to, but I'm not playing any leads, so I don't really need to shred up there. Yeah, and that pretty much does it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you liked the demo songs that I put on there of me playing through it. Hope you like the sound of it. If you do have any questions about the guitar, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message on Instagram and I can talk to you about it. If you need any help sort of, coming up with ideas and where to get parts for a custom-made homemade guitar, I could definitely help you out with that. Now, a lot of people have asked me if my old man does build guitars for a living, and even though he is a luthier and owns a guitar shop, he doesn't really like building a lot of guitars because it does take a lot of time, but he does mainly specialise in those setups and repairs and stuff like that. So if you are in the Brisbane area, Matt's Guitar Service, obviously I'm a little bit biased, but he does really, really good work. That pretty much does it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, refresh it, give it another shot. My name's Ben, this is Art, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.